Following right behind that, Karen Smythe, who some of you know, we went up and canvassed for her, ran for New York State Senate, and Mary Kate's going to tell you a little bit about her, and she's going to talk about the difficulty in fundraising and what it was like actually running.
So I had the honor and the privilege of spending some time with Karen when she was conducting her campaign. We went out and knocked doors together, and I have to tell you, it was wonderful. She is a great candidate, was a great candidate, hopefully will be again. But it was really inspiring to watch somebody who, for the first time, decided to jump in and learning the ropes as she was going along. I was super, super impressed. We went to a union meeting one night, and Karen was a woman in front of, I'd say maybe, 120 burly construction guys. There was a good segment of Fox News people in there, and she handled the room brilliantly. I was very, very impressed. So when we were discussing this topic, I thought there's no better way of actually finding out what it's like from that side, better than somebody who just went through it. So, Karen Smythe.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation. And the first thing I need to say is to thank you to all of you who did venture north into Dutchess and Putnam County to campaign on my behalf. I will tell you, it's not just the extra doors that you were able to hit. It was also knowing that all of you came up to my way. Most of you had never met me before and were there to support me. That was huge. I had never run for office before in graduate school. I ran for vice president, and that was the first and only campaign I ever ran. I did not have to raise any funds for that, and it really was extraordinary. And part of what gave me energy throughout the whole process was the people who came out, and for me to start to realize that there are organizations like this who are working on an ongoing basis. We just had an election, and here you all are here today in February. Focused on these issues, and it really is extraordinary. So thank you for your support, and also thank you for being here, and thank you for the opportunity to talk to you. You know, campaign finance and fundraising, I will just add, I actually ran a construction company, so probably the most comfortable place I was talking to union construction workers. So that place was pretty comfortable. There were a variety of other spots that were a little bit more challenging, but actually the carpenters they had some very challenging questions. And yet I fully appreciated where they were coming from, because I knew what it was like for them to work. I knew how hard they worked. I knew how important their work was. I also knew how much they got paid, because they were union workers. And I thought, you know, without the union, they would not be being paid these wages. They would not be getting these benefits. And the two business agents that I worked with mostly, I always saw them as my partners, never as my adversary. Now, did they always get it right? No. Did we have arguments and challenges? Absolutely. But to me, that's how it's supposed to work, because an individual employee is never going to have the same weight. Similar to what we're talking about here, an individual employee doesn't count as much as the management. But if you start having a union representative who's representing all of the workers, you suddenly have a different balance in power and a different balance in conversation. My experience in running for office, so as I said, I'd never run for office before. I got frustrated like many of you and said, oh my gosh, I'm tired of yelling at the TV, I have to go do something. And I happened to be at a Planned Parenthood event, and someone who I've known for years, who I didn't happen to know was the vice chair of the Dutchess County Democratic Committee, said, hey, have you ever thought of running for office? And I said, funny you should ask, because I'm so frustrated I got to do something. And he said, you should run for state senate. I said, really? You know, you sure I should jump in that deep end first? And he introduced me to the chair of Dutchess County, and they both said, absolutely. I said, all right, I'm going to trust you, let's go. And it was an extraordinary experience. So I honor those of you who are running this year. Good for you, and it really is an extraordinary experience. And whether you win or lose, I don't feel like a loser. I'm sorry that I lost, but I feel like I elevated the conversation. I made people think. I gave people an opportunity to come out and support. And part of what I learned is it really isn't about me. It's, you know, I represent a lot of other people, and I was the one in a position to get out and run. And one of the reasons why I was in that position is because I had a financial situation that allowed me to take basically no salary for an entire year. I also was in a financial position to support my own campaign. And it's interesting in listening to Mika, there are a couple of people in Dutchess County who are business leaders. They have a lot of money, and everyone's, oh, you gotta go talk to these guys. And I knew them, and I called, and we had a conversation. And he told me how I needed to run my campaign. And I said, okay, I hear you. And I said, please donate to my campaign. He did not. I called again. He said, oh yes, absolutely, I will. No money's coming in, so I called him again. He didn't pick up, he didn't call back. I called again. He did pick up. How's it going? What are you doing? How's this? How's that? You gotta do this, you gotta do that. You gotta worry about that stop sign on that corner. I said, this is a state senate position. I said, a stop sign? I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, oh yes, absolutely, yes sir. And then, and he's like, well, I'm gonna give it to the local campaign committee and they'll do it on your campaign. I'm like, well, technically that's not legal. And he's like, oh. I'm like, oh, is not an answer. And so I'm thinking to myself, what, I'll be damned if I'm gonna grovel to this guy. But I had money that I could put in my own campaign, so I didn't have to grovel to this guy. And I think that's a specific example of those who are running for office who don't have personal means to put money in their campaign have to grovel to people who have the money and do give to campaigns and say, this is how you have to run your campaign. The very first piece of advice I was given is go get a financial fundraising consultant. Those were the first people I met with. I met with 2 different financial fundraising consultants and I hired one. And I thought, isn't this crazy? Shouldn't I be out in the district talking to all the people, finding out what the issues are? No, I need to raise money. And the obstacles to running against an incumbent are high. And some of that is a good thing and some of that is a bad thing. We have some really good incumbents. We have a couple in the room. And yet we also have other incumbents who probably should be challenged. And what made that difficult? I stopped counting how many events I went to. My opponent, Sue Serino, went to everything. She's an elected official, so she gets announced all the time. I'm in the room, they don't announce me. She's got the name recognition, I don't. How do I overcome that? Well, I overcome that with money. And so it's kind of this circle, and I really do love the idea of making small donations matter more. Because I think it is about power, it is about voice. I actually said on the campaign trail, I believe that your representatives should be representing those who don't have a voice. But of course the reality is the longer you're in politics, the more you realize that you need to focus on the people who are going to give you money, which are not the people ultimately that you need to be helping. And so it's that vicious cycle. And I also have a personal example of, that real estate group at the top of the list. So the New York State Real Estate PAC spent over $600,000 in the last 2 weeks of my campaign against me and for my opponent. And I got within 688 votes. I had it at 683. That's 5 votes, right? And if you think about it, gosh, what if they hadn't spent that much? I might have had the opportunity to vote on these voting reforms, as opposed to just hoping to do that the next time. So it is, that's my personal experience. I would argue I would love to see money get out of politics at this level. Just imagine if we took half the money that goes into political campaigns and put it into real programs, it would be transformative. So that's my dream. The reality is, are we ever going to get money out of politics? Probably not. But could we get some of it out? Boy, that'd be nice. And so that's my experience. But I'll just add, it was an extraordinary experience to get involved in this way. Obviously, I ran a business. I've been involved in nonprofits for a long time in a variety of different ways. It's just extraordinary, and the fact that you all are here today is a real testament to what I think is, or what I hope is, a country that's getting back to realizing that we are the government, and we have power, and if we get people into office who recognize that and want to make change and will make the hard decisions. I frankly am not interested in a career in politics. I'm interested in making things happen and making things better for the majority of people in my district. I've spent the majority of my life there. And I think if we get more people who look at it that way, then we start making transformative change. And so I know I'm not supposed to, I'm learning the political way. I keep talking and I could go on and on. And so but I'm thrilled to be here. I'm so enthused and excited to know that you're all this involved. My official answer to are you running again is I'm not saying no.